Hey, Terry.
Hey there. How are you?
Okay. I'm just trying to um we have to claim the host in order to like turn on the closed captioning for the meeting, which we have to do. So,
Sure.
but I don't have the code, so I'm trying to find out from the town what code I'm supposed to use. And Eileen can't make it. She got stuck at work, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But I'll try to give you some updates. And I have a question that I'm hoping we can think through together.
Sure.
Okay. Let me find my notes. Hold on a second. How have you been doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband tested positive for COVID this morning.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah, it's tough.
How's he doing?
He's been feeling kind of yucky all day, but I think it's more missing probably 5 days of school that has him disappointed. So
Is he a teacher?
yeah, he teaches in Lynn, and he teaches English language learners, so it's really hard to give a substitute
Yeah.
plans, and so we'll see. Hopefully he'll get over it quick.
I hope so. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
How would you say the Night of the Living Res event went?
It was good. There was just I think 4 or 5 of us from the church, so I don't know if you watched it online.
I had planned to, and then I was like having a tough evening. I fell asleep at like 8:30.
Oh,
It was wild. Anyway,
have you been sick?
No.
No.
I don't. I've been having kind of a wild time at work recently, so these are extra exhausting, but
yeah,
thankfully healthy.
right. Yeah, so the woman who was interviewing the author, at the beginning she said she had a million questions, but for like the first 20 minutes she just talked about herself. With every question was more talking about her own work. So we were just laughing that we should be playing a drinking game that every time that she talked about herself. So, but once it got underway, I think it was really cool. And I had only read a couple of the stories beforehand. So, but it was a really nice night. Besides that.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had hoped to go in person and be there with you all, and then I was feeling so tired. I was like, I'll just watch it from home. And then I basically fell asleep.
Even that, yeah.
Which is too bad.
Yeah.
But thank you for putting on the event. Did you get anybody from outside of the church?
No, there were just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. Yeah. So very small group, but it was nice to watch it all together and then talk about the book afterwards.
Yeah.
So
good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, sometimes midweek events are hard to get out to get people to participate in.
Yeah.
But he was very, I'm anxious. He talked about, he has a new book that was just selected that's coming out, I think in 2024, he said.
Mhm.
And I think that's a novel, but I'm anxious to read more of his work.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Let's see. So planning is underway for Amy's event. I'm planning to, when we're done this evening, when we get off this meeting, I'm going to send out that email to all the schools.
Oh, okay,
I'm
great.
hoping that will be like a good, I'm never sure whether to like advertise things like way far in advance so people can plan ahead, or whether it's better to
Right.
advertise them closer to the time so that, it's more imminent. So I figure a week and a half, maybe this is the sweet spot. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to the day of. I saw her email where she said that it would be good to have some people on hand to help wrangle the kids if there's more people than can be working on the art project at one time.
Right.
So I think that'll be good. I'm certainly planning to be there, and I'm happy to like read stories or like color things. I can also check with the Human Rights Commission to see if there are any other volunteers. Like we have some students on the commission who tend to be pretty like active in volunteering at the events.
Yeah.
The thing was, I don't know if you remember, but at the very beginning, we had a meeting where Elizabeth Asenza from the UU Church in Wakefield was there. And we were talking with her about like, do people from her congregation want to help with the event? And she said day of volunteering like tends to be a good place for her folks to get involved. So maybe I'll email her too and see if there's anybody who wants to volunteer for people wrangling.
Okay. That's great. Because there are 3 people who are kind of in charge of the children's education and that type of thing at our church. And 2 of them are on vacation. They told me a long time ago that they preferred the October 9th to the 16th because they were going to be away.
Yeah,
so
that's too bad.
Yeah, they're naturals, and they were excited to be involved, but the 16th doesn't work for them. So I'm planning to be there, and but yeah, that her email response definitely gave me pause, because I thought that there were 4 different panels, and that each of the panels would be worked on by a bigger group. So I just wanted to gather like a bunch of questions to send to her rather than peppering her with questions. But
Yeah.
I think in her original email she said 24 to 50 people, and 6 at a time, like over the span of an hour and a half. I didn't do the math, but it just feels like it's going to take a long time at 6 people at a time. So.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like envisioning that she has a method to the madness. Sounds like she's done this event once before, or maybe twice, it sounds like. So, and I think if we do have extra folks helping to, like keep the energy moving for folks who are not at the
right.
campuses.
Yeah.
Like it'll be good. So let's see, I'm gonna reach out to the HRC and the UU Church for some volunteers, see what we get from there.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I
And-
don't imagine that we need like an army of volunteers, because probably also the kids will have their parents with them,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can follow up with Amy and say, I think she said that she could bring some coloring pages and
Mhm.
stories, so
Yeah.
I'll say yes to that, because I think the more resources we have, the better.
Yeah.
And then are there day of the event things to let her know about or to keep in mind?
Let's see. Let me double check my thing. I'll let you know when we have, like, what time we have the room starting.
Okay.
Okay, we have the room starting at 11.
Okay.
So I'm like not envisioning that there's a huge amount of setup that has to happen.
Yeah.
And Dan, who's in charge of the Civic Center spaces, said that we can use the outside, you know, do whatever if the weather is decent. It is, so it's this kind of like slightly stepped, like sloping lawn.
Right. Yeah, I saw that in the picture.
So the only thing to think about is, and we can just like make a game time decision in the moment too, is if she does the project by putting the canvases on a table, like a table would not be lying flat in that area.
Okay.
But if she would just have them basically on the ground, then that, you know, it seems like it would work.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So you were talking about sending it out to the schools as soon as possible, and yeah, I sent you an email. Carol is going to set up an Eventbrite, and she thought she would do it this afternoon. I haven't done a search to see if it might be up already. But are there other, you know, channels, ways to get out the word?
Yeah, I think so I think we maybe already have posted it on our Facebook, or if we haven't, I'll talk to, I'll figure out if we have or not, and we'll put the flyer on our Facebook page.
Okay.
We will, I already posted it on the Wakefield community calendar.
Okay.
The schools. Oh, sending a write-up, sending like a event thing to the Wakefield item is one way also to get like there's a decent number of people who find out about events that way. And then on your end, I don't know what stuff is possible in Melrose, like what avenues of advertising would be good.
Yeah, so folks have been talking about, well, we have a Facebook page that we were going to do, and I think there's a Facebook Melrose community page that they were going to post it to. And I can do like a press release to the Melrose weekly news.
Yep.
Which actually would probably have to go on Monday is my guess for the following, for it to be in Friday, but I'll have to double check that. So, yeah, so if I draft something, I'd send it to you, because it would be great to get a quote from you if you want to have it be like an article, or I don't know, we could do it after the fact too. But
Yeah, yeah, definitely send it to me, and I'm figuring we can use the same one for both papers. Although
Okay.
the Wakefield paper is a daily paper, so I can send it just like any time I want, and it'll get published that day or the next day.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
in fact, maybe what I'll do is 2 articles. Yeah, send me what you have, and maybe what I'll do is I'll send 1 article this week, so it's a little further in advance, and then one closer to the day of, which then would
Yeah.
also include Claudia Foxtree's event.
Oh, so is that a definite?
I think so. Yeah, we can talk about that next. There's some stuff
Okay.
that's still up in the air. But yeah, I think we're a go.
Great.
Let's see.
And so that is for this month too, or is that down the road?
It's for this month. It's the 26th of October is the day we're trying to do.
Okay. Because I was reading her, I guess the link you sent, or I was just looking to find out more about her. And the trainings that she does sounded really awesome. And if there was more of a training and educational component, I think that would be right in line with the grant that we got. And we would be very excited to do something more in depth versus just a, like an hour talk kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah. What I've been communicating with her about is a talk, like a 1 evening event.
Okay.
I do think that the what do you call it? The trainings that she does would be like incredibly, like just like amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, now I'm trying to make the closed captioning on this thing work.
Okay. Oh, I was in a Zoom last night and yeah, is it not?
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like it's not giving me the
Now
option.
it is.
Is it working now?
Now it's working, yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay.
And so did excuse me, did Eileen hear from the Reading Library or?
So she and I have a phone call set up with somebody from Reading tomorrow evening. They weren't able to join this meeting tonight, I think because of a scheduling conflict, but tomorrow evening she and I are talking with somebody from Reading, so I'm hoping we'll be able to get somebody on board there. I've been talking with the Wakefield Public Library, and they're interested in co-sponsoring. I haven't talked like dollar amounts with them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to email her back with some follow-up about that. One thing, the big question that we have is, so the 26th is the day that we're aiming for. Her schedule is like pretty booked.
Okay.
So we had like a couple of days, and that seemed like kind of the best day that we could get. It's a Wednesday evening.
Okay.
And in terms of where to host the event, there's a couple options. One is, so the Wakefield Public Library, have you ever been in there?
Yeah.
So the Wakefield Public Library has like a lecture hall, but that's booked that evening.
Oh.
And so I was talking with the library director, and she said that we could use one of the reading rooms, which are these sort of like big, like huge, kind of tall window, like rooms in the front of the library.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that she says it could probably seat, let me find my email from her, not that many people. She said, hold on. I think she said like 30 people. And so I'm trying to envision like what realistically would we expect to see if we did really good, like getting the word out as best we can,
Right.
across multiple towns.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday evening. Let's see, she says, okay, she said, I don't think it would be wise to suggest that we could get more than 40 comfortably in the living room. So say it's a max of 40 people. There's another room, same room that we have booked for Amy's event, can seat up to 60 if you fill it with chairs. But that space is booked until exactly 6 o'clock that day.
Okay.
I could see when I originally spoke with Claudia, or when I emailed with her, she said she could do that day either at 5, at 6, or at 7.
Okay.
So I think I could, it's not unlikely. I think that she would be able to push it back to 7 instead of 6, and maybe we could get the heritage room. And so my question to you is, I'm like not very good at estimating numbers of people or figuring out who might come to an event,
Right.
How many do you think is like a realistic estimate of how many people would show up?
Right. I mean, I think that she would be a very big draw.
Yeah.
And like our anti-racism team is probably 12 people who are very involved. And I think with enough heads up, they would all like to be there. I'm trying to think, the event that we had last IPD, we opened it up to the public, and probably, I don't know, 6 to 10 outside people came, and probably 20 internal. Yeah, because I think we had close to 30 people. But we hadn't done, it was the same thing. We didn't have a whole lot of time for publicity. We definitely didn't put anything in the newspapers or anything like that. So, but I would say there'd probably be a good 20, 25 from Melrose who would want to go. So maybe if you had, how many did you think on your side?
Trying to think back to the last time that we were having in-person speaking events. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at estimating numbers.
Yeah.
The other question, and this is something else I should make a note to myself to ask her, is I don't know if she has like a mailing list or something.
And is she going to be in person, or was this going to be? Okay.
It's in person only. I had tried to see about setting it up for hybrid. And to do a true like a truly integrated hybrid event. I talked to the Wakefield cable company, and they said it's not really feasible. They could do it in their studio, which also I think seats maybe 30, but it's not very like lovely, it's like a TV studio. So they could do it in their studio, which is fully equipped for that. And I asked if they can set it up at like a different venue, and they said not really. It's like not really feasible. But what they did say is probably your best bet is just to like run a camera and connect it through to Zoom and kind of, do sort of a hack for that is unstable.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can now, but for the last like minute, no.
I was just saying that WCAT said that doing a fully integrated hybrid event would take not really feasible outside the studio.
Right.
They said that we hook it up in that way, but I don't have anything like arranged with them as of now.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know if Claudia also has a mailing list. I don't know. I guess it's better safe than sorry, like better to have a bigger space and it's not full than to have a smaller space and you run out of space.
Yeah, I would agree, especially for somebody like her. And yeah, so our big hall at church is set up for streaming, so we can fit well, it's a very big space. I forget exactly what the numbers are, but we used to host the middle school dances. So I want to say it's 175, but we also have both fold up chairs and then these new high back chairs that we can set up so that it doesn't feel cavernous in the space. So that is an option, and I can reach out to the buildings guy to see if the space is available.
Let's see. Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I wondered too, the UU Church in Wakefield also has a well, there's two options. There's like the church kind of area, which is like a little awkward because there's like a giant white Jesus like staring down at you the whole time.
Yeah. In a UU church?
Yeah, they're apparently looking to get that window replaced. It's like a big stained glass window.
Oh.
But as of the present, white Jesus is a part of the experience.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a downstairs area which they use for like performances. There's like a stage and stuff, and they have all kinds of like tables and chairs that you can set up.
Yeah, that's what we have too.
Similar, yeah. So maybe those spaces are also an option. Is your space wheelchair accessible?
Yes, we have a wheelchair ramp on the not the Franklin Street side, the West Highland Ave side of the church has a ramp.
Cool. how about the bathrooms? This is a thing I have just recently discovered, is even wheelchair accessible places often don't have wheelchair accessible bathrooms.
Yes, we do. It's on the same floor. In fact, right when you come up the stairs or the wheelchair ramp, there's a wheelchair accessible bathroom right there at the back door.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that sounds like that could be an option also. Well, okay. Sounds like maybe the library could be out. I also am not 100% sure. I could ask her. I don't know if the library's co-sponsorship is geographically tied. Like if we have the event in Melrose,
Oh,
would
yeah.
that affect anything? I don't really know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I'll just ask Mark, our buildings
yeah,
manager.
if it's available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's very exciting. It's a little scary that it's just a couple weeks away, but
Yeah.
yeah. So are you planning to do a flyer or publicity, or does she have?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually, let me put this on my list because I have to email her and see if she has information that she
PR.
wants included. Yeah, like does she
Yeah.
have a headshot or a
Mm,
what do you call it? Copy that she would want to be on there, anything?
yeah.
Mm.
And did she say, or did you decide on a topic?
Yeah, she let me find it. She did tell me the topic, and let me pull up her email.
Yeah, if you forwarded it already, I just wasn't sure if that was.
Yeah, I think it's in that email chain.
Okay.
And let me see what she says. It says decolonizing contributions by Indigenous people. Presentation will help us connect the dots from the past to the present about how Indigenous ingenuity is part of the story of historical contributions on what is now known as the United States. We will examine what we recognize about Indigenous inventions and language and consider the relevancy of this information in our own practice as an educator, parent, or community member. We will start with a hands-on activity and then decolonize what we have learned about contributions by adding important, lesser-known historical information.
Okay. Well, if there is a hands-on component, then it makes you wonder, do we need tables and do we need a bigger space?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure, because the other thing is,
Yeah.
because I had asked her about hybrid, like, would you be game to do a hybrid event? She's like, I'm fine with hybrid. And so I'm like, I'm not necessarily, I don't know what she means by hands-on. Is it like an activity? Is it more of a like participatory?
Right.
So let me send her an email to clarify about that.
Okay. And she was okay to have it be hybrid as long as it wasn't being recorded. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't
Yeah.
record her events, but she said as long as somebody who like other than her could be monitoring the chat and like doing that stuff, she said she was open to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. cool.
Yeah, that's really exciting. That's
Yeah.
great.
I'm like amazed and excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So I want to circle back. You were mentioning about the grant being sort of probably better suited for the training that she does. What are your thoughts about like financially supporting this event? Do you think it's going to be possible, or is it sort of not a fit for your grant?
No, I think the event is, but I think, I had said probably at the $500 level.
Yeah.
But we have, in our grant, we had talked about bringing, what is the name of the group? Oh gosh. It's now kind of a controversial group to come and do trainings with different constituents in Melrose. So, people at the city, because the city was doing its own, the mayor had set up his DEIJ task force and, oh gosh, what is their name? It's an acronym. I can't think of what it was, but anyway, the city has been very far behind on they had pulled together the task force and hired consultants and done surveys and things like that, but that's moving a lot slower than what he thought. So I feel like we need to pivot in doing something that's educational, that engages the, different folks from the community, and her training sounded along those lines.
Yeah.
So, but it could be that this would be a nice first step to have people engage, and then maybe we would bring her back for something more in depth.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think that would be amazing. Yeah. I've seen her speak at a couple of, or maybe one time I saw her speak. She's really remarkable. So I think we're lucky to have her coming. And I think to have her for that training to be able to participate in that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's other stuff. So to make myself a note to ask the library that question about whether they will still be a co-sponsor if it takes place in Melrose. But yeah, so I can put together a flyer once I communicate more with Claudia about, what the content, if she has any content that she wants to be included.
Okay.
And then the promotions on our end would,
Be the same.
Be basically similar.
Yeah.
A write-up in the paper and the various mailing lists and Facebooks and things like that.
Right.
So once we have the location nailed down, we can really start doing that a little bit more fully.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, I was just looking at our grant, and it was the Anti-Defamation League.
Oh, yeah.
ADL.
Cool.
Yeah. I think our prior minister had done a lot of work with them, and and then somebody who's very involved on our anti-racism team, worked in the Somerville school system, and he also had used them. So that's what we wrote into our grant. But again, things have not progressed like we thought in the city. Yeah, so I feel like we need to keep moving forward and doing things that that continue to engage people and not wait on the city. So
yeah, I can understand that.
Okay, so anything else?
Well, I will mention that, so there was this other group that I had reached out to a bunch of groups when we were looking for speakers or performers, whoever it might be. And I had heard back from Claudia first, and then a little while later, maybe a week later, I heard back from this place out on the islands called Sassafras Earth Education. And they were like, yes, we think we would be interested in doing this event. So now I'm gonna email them back and be like, I'm so sorry, we booked somebody else. And like, is it too like far ahead to think about next year? Like, because we would love to have you. So I just wanted to put it out there that they did get back to me with like a positive response, and I'm gonna be nice to them about doing something for next year.
Yeah, I personally thought that organization sounded awesome.
They sound really awesome.
Yeah. So, and the idea of the water blessing was, yeah, that would be so cool. So, yeah, if we could plug them in for next year.
Yeah, because then, I mean, we're planning far enough ahead that we might be able to get them like closer to the actual Indigenous Peoples Day, have a bigger sort of event that we can plan ahead for. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm going to respond to them and see if that's a possibility. Yeah.
All right.
So I think that's it. So I will send you well, first, order of operations for me is I'm going to talk to the library about the location question. If it has to be in Wakefield, then I'm going to try to book the Heritage Room for 7 p.m. on that evening.
Okay.
Talk to Claudia, make sure she can still do 7 p.m. If it doesn't have to be in Wakefield, you know, I like the idea of doing it in your space. It sounds like it would be nice. And so let me try to iron some of that out. And then I will make the flyer and send that along to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great. And I will check with our building manager and just hold the date until I hear from you.
Yeah.
And I will work on a draft press release for Ame's event.
Yeah.
And then probably soon after, we'll have to go right into a press release for the other one.
Yeah, and you can even include something in it of like also
that's
stay
true.
tuned for this other event, because it's maybe like a week and a half later. It's pretty soon afterwards.
That's a great idea, because actually having two things that honor Indigenous Peoples Day would make a nice article, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. All right, let me get going on a joint.
You can even recap the Night of the Living Res thing as sort of like a write-up, like, you know, had a event to commemorate, you know, whatever, talk about it. And it's like, if you missed that one, like we have 2 more upcoming events.
Right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, once we get these ready, it'll be good to update Heather's calendar.
Yeah. Oh, yes, exactly.
So,
Great point.
yeah. All right.
Fabulous. Well,
All
thank
right.
you so much, and we will be in
Yeah.
touch. And I think maybe we'll have some updates after me and Eileen talk to Deshna
Reading.
from Reading tomorrow,
Yeah,
so we can keep you posted about that.
that sounds great. All right. Thanks so much, Betty.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Carrie. Yeah, have
All
a
right.
good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.